Power.
Okay, so it's a privilege to be invited here to deliver the keynote address for this AGM. So let me start by acknowledging and standing on all the existing protocols. I'm not too much of a protocol person, so permit me to stand on the protocol already established. The High Commissioner from Ghana, or from Nigeria to Ghana, Your Royal Highnesses here, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So I've been asked to speak on the topic, Unleashing the Potentials, Empowering Nigerians in the Diaspora. I want to start with a new slogan. It's not a new slogan, but you know, and that is Nigeria, good people, great nation. So I want you to indulge me. When I say Nigeria, you say good people, great nation. Nigeria,
good people, great nation.
One more time. Nigeria,
good people, great nation.
Thank you very much. So I want to first of all talk about empowerment. Let us unpack it. So the whole idea of empowerment suggests that there is a power and powerlessness equation. And so this raises a few questions. Who are the powerless? And what is the nature of their powerlessness? Second, in whom or where does this power lie? 3, what channels or processes exist or are involved in accessing and conveying that power to the powerless? And then what time is required to fully empower the powerless? I have about 4 or 5 points to make here in this preliminary side of it. Number 2, the phrase unleashing the potentials, which is the theme, part of the theme for this AGM. In my topic suggests that there's a giant within us which is imprisoned and needs to be set free. It suggests to me that empowerment that we gather here to discuss today should or proceed from within rather than from without. This is so because everybody has something unique to offer the world. Some hidden potentials that need to be unleashed and maximized. And this leads me to think that the whole conversation on empowerment for which we are gathered here today begins with you and me. Point number 3, there's a huge difference between the idea of empowerment in the homeland, Nigeria, and in the diaspora. Back home, it is mostly a top-down approach. We have seen many government initiatives aimed at empowerment. Things like giving soft loans to entrepreneurs, giving equipment to women or widows, various scale acquisition initiatives, just to help people get some power. But now you are in a new country, and so it's a new approach, and I call it the bottom-up approach. In your new country of residence, you are a non-citizen, just like you just told, and so may not benefit from empowerment packages by the government for our citizens. At the same time, because you are outside the homeland, you do not benefit from empowerment from your home government. So on both sides, we diasporans are sort of excluded. That means that the whole business of empowerment begins and ends with knowing your potentials and unleashing them with whatever resources and opportunities exist in your new abode. If you were employed directly from Nigeria like some of us, then you might not be in the power and powerlessness equation. But if you came to diaspora on your own, then we talk more about empowerment. Point number 3, what did you bring on board to your new country? Here I'm talking about skills, business ideas, knowledge, educational level, and so on. What did you bring that gave you soft landing in the new country? How well have you integrated into your new country? Here I'm talking about acculturation. What I did when I came was to buy a big map of Ghana, and with all the regions. So every day I look at it. And every 7 o'clock I sit down to listen to GBC, So I get to know Ghana, I know what is going on in Parliament, I know what is going on here. That's the way I acculturate, into the system. Now, when you were leaving home, did you burn the bridges? You know the story behind the bridges? That an army commander took his troop to a remote island to fight. They built a bridge to cross the river to get there. When they got there, he said, burn the bridges. I know in the army, you obey before you complain. And so they burned the bridges. And then they say, sir, why did you burn the bridges? He said, well, yes. Now we can't go back. He said, now we fight here and win, or we all die together. So when we were leaving home, did you burn the bridges? If you did, NIDO is one avenue through which you can build new bridges with the homeland. Point number 6. Since coming to the diaspora, have your expectations been met? Did you have to forget or modify your expectations because of the realities of your new environment? Let me go back to a point that I skipped. When you were leaving your country, what were your expectations as you moved on to your new country? Were these expectations based on myth or reality? So let me pause briefly here to discuss a few myths from my ongoing book, which I'm writing. It's titled, Stay Where You Are, Rethinking Immigration and Relocation. And I identified about 5 myths. The first myth is that the grass is greener on the other side. In the age of social media, when people are posting and they say, oh, that's the money on the street. Okay, so what was the pull factor? Or what was the push from your homeland? What was your expectation when you moved to your new country? Have this expectation been met? So then the myth of respectability. Many times we believe that when you are abroad, people respect you. So you come here, Ghana will say it's a burger. So the myth of respectability. There's also the myth of abundant wealth and quick money. If you are abroad, you quickly get money. Nigerians, if you have watched Bank Alert by B-Square, he was very poor. He went to see the girl he wanted to marry. The clothes were torn. And the father pulled cutlass and said, get away from here. And he told the girl, I'm going abroad. And within 5 years, he came back with a private jet and built so many wonderful houses and sang Bank Alert. It was Bank Alert. So that's a myth, because it doesn't really happen in reality that way. There's also the myth of citizenship. If I go to that country and marry their daughters, they will give me citizenship. Go and ask them. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Then there's the myth of leaving behind all your problems and being free. But when you leave your problems behind, you go to meet new problems. And so what we should talk about is problem-solving skills and not how to avoid problems. Because everywhere you go, there are problems. So contemplating empowerment in the diaspora. Like I said before, it should be a bottom-up approach. And it begins with you. So as an individual, I suggest that you contemplate empowerment by self-examination or re-examination. And here I suggest that each of us should do a SWOT test, SWOT, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this will inform you on where you stand in the power and powerlessness equation. Let's look at your strength. What do you consider to be your strength? What are the skills you have? Sometimes the skills we acquired yesterday are no longer relevant. Even the degrees we got a few years ago or many years ago are no longer relevant. So what do you consider as your strength? Do you need to retool? Do you need new skills? What kind of business ideas did you come with? Or do you have now? What do you consider as strength in your own situation now? Then number 2, weaknesses. What are your weaknesses? For me, sometimes I will think about just how to do one thing. I want to take a decision. I will think. I will be having headache this part of the head. And at the point I had to say, no, this one stops you from taking action. So these days, I don't think too much again. Tap, I do. And I find that it's making me move very fast. So you should be honest to yourself. What are your weaknesses that is stopping you from reaching that empowerment level you want? Then opportunities. What opportunities exist where you are? Do you understand Ghana? Let me take Ghana for example. When you look at the whole environment, what opportunities do you see here? So we should be looking out for opportunities. Listen to news, you see where the opportunities are. There's business news here in Ghana, in the GBC, and you get to know the opportunities are where you are. Then the threats. You were hearing about land just now. That's a threat. If you bought a land here, you're built one, and 50 years time you will lose it. That's a big threat. Threats of immigration, your immigration status, threats of all kinds, even threats of health and all of that. So when you do a SWOT test, you are able to determine where you stand, and then you now know these are the areas I need to work on for me to get my empowerment. So your findings from your SWOT test will open your eyes to many or few things that made you or is making you powerless in some ways. You can then isolate them and deal with them one by one. It is a simple reflection. You don't have to have a university degree. Just looking inside of you to examine yourself. And we need to do this constantly. So next, I want to move on to agency, values, and empowerment. Here I'm saying that empowerment is rooted in agency. And what is agency? Agency is defined as an individual's sense of control over your life and how this influences their thoughts and behaviors to navigate various situations. A sense of agency helps you to be psychologically stable, yet flexible in the face of conflict and change. Agency is your own very power. Take note of the word power. Your ability to affect the future. So our conversation on empowerment here today cannot be complete if we do not factor in individuals' agency. According to Abel Bandura, professor of psychology, agency has 4 components. 1, intentionality. That's your ability to make proactive commitment to take action to change your life. If you don't stand to change your life, who will change it for you? You have to take action. 2, the forethought. Your ability to visualize your future, set goals, and motivate yourself and guide your actions. As we gather here, you know what you want. And therefore, you must be able to visualize what you want. And the third component is self-reactiveness. This means that once you have made an intention or a plan, you must be deliberate in acting towards reaching your goals. And, that determination to pursue your goals now that you have made them. And finally, self-reflection. Your ability to think about and evaluate your motives, your values, and your life goals. Self-reflection. For everything you plan to do, self-reflection, you have to think about it. So talking about values and our quest for success in the diaspora, various accomplishments and empowerment in our lives are rooted in our values. These values are in turn rooted in our spirituality and upbringing. Let's pause for a moment and ask, what values drive my life? Am I a self-seeker, first person? Am I somebody who wants to be rich by all means, irrespective of the means and the harm to people through my actions? What does success mean to me? And so on and so forth. On the personal note, and with all sense of humility, I pride myself in my values of righteous living, love for all humanity, integrity, honesty, and commitment to duty. I believe that the purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. And these values and a few others which I didn't mention here guide my every action and embody my ideas of success in life. All I'm saying here is that as we seek empowerment of Nigerians in the diaspora, let our actions be guided by good values that transcend self-ego and foolish pride. Actions that have potential to impact positively generations yet unborn, both in the diaspora and in the homeland. What is the role of NIDO in diaspora empowerment? That's my first question. NIDO is an umbrella organization that focuses on the welfare of Nigerians in the diaspora. It provides a platform for diasporas to engage with one another and with connections to the seat of power in Abuja under the distinguished leadership of Honorable Abike Dabri, who has done an excellent job since she was brought on board. NIDO reminds us, thank you. NIDO reminds us that in the diaspora, we are not alone. It's a big umbrella that seeks to shelter us from the stormy blast and help us to forge a united front in the diaspora, despite our ethnic diversities. Joining NIDO wherever you are is a form of empowerment, as NIDO brings together people of various skill sets, professionals in various fields, business owners, intellectual diplomats, and so forth. Joining NIDO is of mutual benefit to all of us as you exchange ideas on a constant basis and leverage on the powers of others. It is a place to rub minds, and in the process, the powerful will empower the powerless. That's what we here today. Now, there's what I call the full circle empowerment. Full circle empowerment. Giving back to the homeland. It is my idea that empowerment is not complete until it fits back to the homeland, like and comes back like a loop. This is what I call full circle empowerment. From the diaspora to the homeland and back to the diaspora. As we seek empowerment today, but it should not be for ourselves alone. We should think beyond ourselves to see how we too can empower others, both in the diaspora and in the homeland. We must learn to give back to the homeland in whatever form that is affordable and required. That's why we sing, "Arise, O compatriot, Nigeria call, obey." Let us not forget the land of our birth and the people we left behind. We have no other country to return to. Let us work to make our country great so that one day we can return home and continue our life's journey. As we have come by ourselves to the diaspora, may we return the same way. Amen.
Amen.
Now to my concluding remarks. As I conclude my keynote address, let me say again that NIDO is a huge initiative that can drive empowerment and positive change, both in the diaspora and in the homeland. Wherever we may be in the diaspora, let us continue to contribute positively to building the Nigeria that we all want. For the executive of NIDO, both former and the new ones that will be sworn in at this AGM, I advise that your actions and activities should be above board. The NIDO organization and serve the NIDO organization with loyalty and honesty. Let us avoid selfish interests at the expense of group interests and organizational goals. Let us eschew parochialism, ethnic and religious bigotry, and serve equitably with all our might, one nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity. I thank you for your kind attention.